his lightning. For the Tracer as well. I mean, I guess that would be a given with this composition, even though we normally see Wolf run on this map into the Feral Heart. Final picks here. I guess this is just going to be a solo laner, although they don't have. It doesn't have to be. Like, this could just be a secondary DPS. It's going to be the Malthael, so it is a solo laner. This means that Abathur, where he sits and where he soaks, is no longer as important. So he can really be anywhere, just be symbioting, and he can also be threatening channels of the altars, which we have seen quite a bit on this map. Malthael is going to be a strong matchup against Sonya. He's not going to be the solo laner, not in this meta. He's more of a mage slash support. Like, he's more of a Tassadar. Secondary support, secondary DPS, more than he was like a solo laner. Only support, only delay, pseudo DPS. I don't know what to call what Medivh used to be, but it's not that anymore.
Specialist. Yes.
Don't use the S word on me here, G-Clef.
Hey, what about all the other specialists? Sergeant Hammer, Lazebo? Come on.
Abathur. Alright, Abathur's a specialist.
Yes. Oh boy. But
specialist to me, like, sometimes means, like, I don't know, like, we made this hero is pretty cool and unique, but we don't know what he is. Like, we're not sure. He hurts the towers
like
a lot.
Maiev, it does protect and protects his teammate, but he doesn't really heal exactly, so he can't be a support. So a specialist, right?
I mean, I think the best thing to say about Medivh now with his baseline damage and his new healing is that he attack, but he also protect.
Yes. That's a very good way of putting it. After building into the healing Avatar, we have seen that oftentimes. Yep. Especially from Korea.
It's been the more meta build this season, or this second round robin, this split. Medivh's already up there, getting it done in the top lane as Ace is roaming as a 4-man. And it's just not being very successful at the moment. It's completely avoided by Tempest. Tempest is running circles around them in terms of macro at the moment. Because they have the Abathur here, this Locust is going to help keep this mid lane pushed so they can even just clear this faster. Going to make it hit the towers even faster. Witcher is not getting stacks at the moment.
That's what they have to do. It's what Tempest has to do. They don't have the best wave clear with the 4-man. Of course, Abathur does work in a global way. But what they're trying to do is out-rotate. Teamfight can actually be very tough. Pulsebomb may not find the target because Ace, they don't really have anyone too squishy from the line. Medivh can always give that protection onto the Pulsebomb. As you mentioned, Sonya, Taika's not really the best target for the Pulsebomb.
Yeah. Well, Sign is just harassing as best he can. He tries to get it onto Hero. They don't get any picks, but Ace respects the power of this roaming squad. And they're just going to give up this Sapper camp. So Tempest gets both Sapper camps. Abathur is body soaking while also soaking mid with his symbiote. I can't see it, but I guarantee you that's what he's doing. So they're going to get soak mid while he body soaks top. He will need the pressure relieved as Sonya is trying to hit him here. He even has to use some of his symbiotes to push this back. But, oh my god, he's crazy. Gonna help, this pressure will be relieved soon once the bottom push is done. There's the pulse onto Gamey. He's gonna go down. No Medivh to save him, so we talk about how Medivh can mitigate pulse bombs, but not if he's AFK mid. By the way, still not getting any stacks for his baseline Master's Touch.
Perfectly calculated with the parting gift. Just got the kill, and that was the target they had to go for. No protection at all. Medivh was away. Anubarak was not even defending his teammate. He was trying to clear a wave on the other side. Bad start for Ace, certainly.
The only thing that Tempest lost was the top wall took a little bit of damage from Rush, but it doesn't matter as much because Tempest's clear goal is to grab bottom bell tower and play the meta Towers of Doom strategy where you just control bottom bell tower forever, control camps. And this next altar phase here, again, Tempest was going to look for 2, but even if they fail this somehow, they were still successful in their early game mission, and they're going to have an experienced lead. Notice that Sign is trying to delay bottom. Lockdown steals this as Abathur. They're not going to interrupt the Sonya channel, but they're going to look for a pick. Gamey gets the root, but the Pulse Bomb connects. Where's Medivh? He's AFK mid, just became Raven. And this Witcher Medivh has not been impressive today, G-Clef. It was much better on Friday.
It's because they are not really putting the resource. They don't have the exact picks to do so. If they have Medivh join the roaming squad, then they're going to miss the lane because their wave clear was super low. Medivh was wave clearing mid the entire time. That's how bad of a situation in macro terms Ace is having right now. Because they keep on losing members, they're going slower, they've been losing sapper camps, and that's what Tempest knew exactly what to do. To pin on, to just poke into that point.
And now they're going to steal both camps again. Like I said, their whole game plan is to get control of the bottom bell tower. And they're diving in deep. Gamey has been the target every time. Gets through the portal this time, we'll get the heal. But now it's going to be time to rotate up and grab these sappers because the bottom lane was pushed as well. The sappers are like totally safe right now. Ace can't even really contest them. They're going to come down now. They're heading in. Medivh is here this time. This is a straight up 4v4 fight with Abathur being able to add symbiotes. Good trying to heal off this minion wave. It's a little bit aggressive what Tempest is doing right now, especially now that Tracer has left. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to steal both like the original plan was. In fact, they might just let it go.
Yeah. Because Sonya came down after clearing the wave, they actually got extra EXP. During that teamfight, they didn't lose anyone. So they did catch up in EXP slightly, and they didn't give up this sapper camp for their side. They had the pressure, but nice rotation. You can already tell when Witcher joins the teamfight, when Medivh is there for the portal. Oh no.
He doesn't have the pulse bomb, so cannot get the pick. Almost an oh-no moment, though. It looked like an oh-no moment, G-Cup. We'll figure it out.
For a second.
Yeah. I thought he had it, and I looked up, and I was like, well, he would have used it, I think, and it was at like 40% charge. Alright, well, this is going to be the solo bottom altar. Sonya coming in after that heal. I think I actually just tapped. Oh, got completely healed in the fountain. Hall of Storm, excuse me. Use the technical term. And Abathur is body soaking top again. But Tempest does not have as much control over this as they did the last. Good. Just clearing this wave, clearing up the sappers. That's a better timing here for Ace to pressure the lane. But they're not getting a good trade here. I'd like to see something aggressive happen as Good can now actually look for the flank.
It is actually Ace who has to go in and make something happen here as targeting goes to Witcher. Portal's already outside, is very low, but managed to escape. Good is caught in that root cleanse, nicely coming from Hyde.
Yeah, that cleanse was required here. Tempest is losing this fight. It's pre-10 with Abathur. Abathur's getting a lot of extra soak here. They're trying to buy time, but I'm not certain, I'm not convinced they're actually going to grab this altar. As Sign just wasn't able to do enough damage. Hero has been well protected this time by Witcher. And they can't get any picks onto Gamey as well. He grabs the altar, they lose this, but they lose the battle, but do they win the war, G-Club? It feels like that's the case, given that we have these mules now healing, and 10 is finishing right now. So level 10's up. Can look for potentially a boss fight or another invade in just a second when that sapper camp comes back online.
They do have a lot of time to work around. Ace still needs lots of ways to hit that level 10. Tempest, all their mission, their goal was to actually delay. If lucky, they could get a kill, but if not, they could just delay after still pushing the top lane. And even before Hyde was already going to the mid lane to get that EXP as much denied as possible. And
yeah,
that's creating the gap even more.
That was certainly successful. 10's up here now for Ace. Tempest still wants to escort these sappers in. It's been their whole objective all game long to control experience, but also to grab this bell tower by invades. Great force of will there onto KCB, absorbing almost everything Tempest threw at them. Pulse Bomb still held here by Sign. There's another shield. He's going in onto Hero, doing that extra damage. Parting Gift might be what he needs to finish it. Polybomb and the Cocoon committed here, though.
Oh, there's that negative synergy and the Sanctification to save Tracer. The clone comes. A little bit off timing, I would say. Just wasted, basically.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't touch on this, but Sign's back on the Tracer. He was not on Friday. So
it was Dami on Friday, I believe?
Yeah. So Dami's flexed over to the Tyrael, this exact same type of composition. So maybe some adjustments made after their loss versus Ballistics. Either way, it was... I think it's a cool thing. A lot of people appreciate Sign can play the Tracer. After Friday, we thought we'd maybe never see it again, but not the case. Sign's back. on that Tracer. So Medivh is so good at delaying and is gonna crush Tyrael in that 1v1 on the bottom altar. In fact, Dami's gonna come back up here to look for a more straight up engage, straight on. Alright, Root here forces the recall. Parting Gift not gonna do anything. This is looking like another bad fight for Tempest, but good sneaks. This altar nearly is interrupted by that Moonfire. Are they gonna heavy engage? 6 seconds until Tormented Souls is up. Can Good last until that time? 2 seconds.
There's a poly combo. Ancestral does not connect. Sonya takes out Tracer. Good is trying to delay it, do what he can, but I don't think they have enough damage to get any more kills.
Ancestral interrupted when it didn't go off. Didn't have enough time to use it there onto Malthael. And Tempest is now massively behind in this game. Not only they lose this bell tower and go 8 hit points down in the core, they're going to potentially lose this bell tower. They're losing the wall at least. Mini wave coming up right now. Dami can't do much to protect this. They're going in. Witcher's harassing. And this is definitely a 1 bell tower. Tempest is absolutely, beyond a doubt, behind in this game against Ace now.
Sign didn't have a... Forcing out that recall before the team fight, I think really hurted him. Recall was about to come back online with the cooldown. And Ace, how they used the Cocoon first and then Poly after to cast that Tracer. Nicely timed and nicely. Good teamwork. We're seeing a lot better teamwork coming out from Ace Friday and today too.
The Polybomb and the stack up of the Cocoon was a little bit, you know, it was definitely a mistake, but you can see what both those heroics can do, even when they're stacked on top of each other, and how much power that gives you to control some of these team fights with Tracer diving through. Tempest will actually, with the defensive trade they took there that protected their bell tower, come over here and grab this camp again. So once again, stealing this camp, controlling all 6 of these sappers, are actually going to look to finally get the bell tower they've been looking for all game, and maybe grab more, putting themselves back into control of the macro. Ahead in this game, though, certainly not, but controlling this macro is going to be quite nice for them because they have an Abathur, and they have the ability to look for the double bell tower now to catch up and actually take a lead.
Let's see how greedy they go. Maybe they try to go contest. They're looking to go towards that altar, actually not having anyone onto the right side.
Big bait here by Tempest as well. Might have to use the Ancestral though. Whoa, Hyde is not hitting the Ancestrals today. That was certainly an opportunity to use it. Instead, this bait, which looked masterful, ends up being a suicide mission because the Ancestral wasn't there that needed to be there for good. He was trying to set up this bait. You could tell Hyde was set up there to come in, Ancestral, do some extra damage, and the whole team would collapse while Abathur stole the tower, but I'm not entirely sure why he didn't commit there. The Polybomb comes in and they get a kill. I
didn't really quite catch that on screen. I think the Cocoon was there. It's on cooldown. Rehgar was just strapped to Cocoon.
Yeah, you may be right.
Make sure there's no Ancestral coming in for his teammate. And KCB on Nubarak has been amazing, impressing us all the time. Of course, his ETC last game was not as good, but this game and KCB last time on this Nubarak on Friday was having a pretty good combo with the Cocoon. Well, if they have everything in their order to complete what they need.
If you're in fact right and it was the Cocoon, then it was not a mistake by Hyde, but actually, again, another masterful play from KCB. And, you know, these Cocoons have been heavy impact onto Tempest. Tempest still behind in this game, still losing fights, giving up picks. Hyde has been unable to Ancestral these priority targets, whether by his own misclick or late click, or, you know, in the case of this last one, it seems KCB's Cocoon. So they have 16 first. Ace is showing one of their weaknesses in this series, I think, though, not capitalizing on leads they have, not invading, not stealing sappers, for example, just playing passively. But if they win every fight for every objective, I guess their passivity and lack of macro control won't matter at the end of the day. They only got 3 shots from that last altar because of their lack of bell tower, but they have all back now. They're at 4-4. Let's see if Abathur decides to sneak one again. He is heading over to red side top. Meanwhile, Sonya, rush over here, will grab this one. So, going to be a trade, and we're going to have that team fight on the neutral bell tower.
All 10 heroics online. Here goes Tracer Cocoon. So there's It's very hard to break the cocoon. It takes a long time.
They have no damage without her. She's out now, though. Crimson Nubarok getting the big impale on his way out. This looks like a one fight for Ace already. Everyone's too low. Sank could turn this, but they can't all get in the same place because they're all split in 5 directions. Dami can look for it. This should be it. There it is. Well, look at that force of will protecting Rubo. They can turn this fight now. Polybomb comes through. Hyde avoids spreading it. Dami very, very low. There's still so much damage coming out here on the side of Malthael as good. Low on mana, doing what he can. It's still not enough. The Sank, they look to turn the fight. They had that damage mitigation, but the same was there with the force of will. And Tempest looks poised to lose this game, G-Clef.
It was a tough moment. They got that Tranquility out, but they were chasing with that portal, really making that Medi pick and work to chase the targets. When they have to actually walk all the way, it becomes a very hard job for Tempest to chase, just dodge, look away from Ace.
Just had to have a chuckle about that symbiote on the mule to attempt to delay. It didn't work. Mule would have rather been bottom. But the synergy of Ace with this comp and these Sonya Medivh comps, I feel like has been pretty good, but we can't forget about the early game where Witcher spent half of the time clearing up the mid waves and just protecting the mid cannon towers, not being involved in the early fights. Tempest having that early lead. But suddenly I think something clicked for Ace post 10 saying, you take out the tracer damage, by the time she breaks out with no damage to break the cocoon, everyone Tempest is at half health. That's exactly what we just saw. So Tempest needs to try to bait out the cocoon in another way or disengage during these cocoon fights. I don't know if they have that much room to do so, though, given that they're now very close to GG.
This is actually a scary thing now. They have experienced when they're all gathered in on that sanctification. Usually your enemy wants to evade. You don't want to. Your enemy does not want to stand on the same spot because you'll be losing that HP all the time. But with the Medi, with the Circle of Protection talent, all your allies nearby that initial protection will get protection too.
It's like a Sank on a lower cooldown.
Yeah, they can actually be on the Sank because they will also be protected at the same time.
That's exactly what we saw in that last fight. You're 100% on the money. And that talent didn't even used to be meta, but it is now. And it is tearing through these team fights. Tempest could look for a Sank here to the invade. Aldruins is in. Dami comes in for the steal. Is cocooned, however. Good. Will eat this Ancestral, but it means Lockdown has no protection on his clone. It's just a clone, but they're going to look to fight this now. Good's polybombed. Still doing a lot of damage with his heroic here. There's enough protection, though, to stop the damage. Sanctification here going to be completely ignored as everyone retreats away. Do see that holy ground attempting to isolate targets, but it's not enough. Once the clone's dead, this fight is not going to go Tempest's way. Portal here for the chase. Dami gets the jump, and they actually will steal this altar somehow. But that was again, I feel like a one fight for Ace in every way. They're going to look to try to grab this bell tower now because Tempest has to go back and lick their wounds.
Mule is working pretty hard, but can't do it when you're dead. Winning the team fight, it's insane how they're doing it. Also, Witcher's timing of their force of will. Look at that circle of protection coming in all the time. Pulse Bomb was ignored again. That team fight sign is always looking for that kill. But when you're holding that protection all the time, to look for that perfect timing, you can't do your job, and basically Tracer is ignored during team fights.
We're going to have that protected, by the way. Twitch chat copy pasta spammed 5 times in a row in the chat message to be realistic in this.
Yeah.
Polybomb committed to onto Dami. They want this kill. He's
No
very
Sank.
low. Yeah. They committed the grenade as well to lock him in place. But even though he didn't die, he's not relevant in this fight. He has to hearth home. And this means they're going to try to pressure now this mid bell tower. They're going to get 20 first. And Tempest just, this draft has not worked out.
Medivh is coming, and there's the cloner. They're trying to catch some targets. There's the poly, but he dies instantly.
Good goes down. The damage, the focusing here. The Sonya Medivh synergy has been great. Ancestral is going to connect on the Dami this time. Lockdown's clone is going to go down, and this is another lost fight for Tempest. Surprise, surprise.
Sank is back now, but way too late. Ace has too much CC. Their coordination is great. They have AoE root to stop them from chasing. They have so much protection. This comp is actually working really well.
Smashing Tempest right now. Tempest is going to try to take control of the top bell tower to pull the macro away. Ace thinks they're doing boss. They come check. They see it's not the case. They see it's just this push. It's a huge minion wave. They're going to commit heavily. But if they get stuck here, this is going to cost them the entire game. Rush shows bottom. I'm trying to shield those minions. Doesn't work that way, unfortunately, Witcher. Polybomb comes through. They really want to protect this bell tower. And you know what? I think they've just barely done it. 20's up now. Abathur's soaking mid gets Tempest up to 22, so it's an even talent tier now. Tempest has to win every fight for the rest of this game, though. Or they are sending us to a game 3 on a tied score no one would have predicted. The Medivh ban in game 1, absolutely warranted given where we stand in this game now. So much of the extra damage of these sustained fights while Tracer is in a cocoon is coming from the Medivh. Force of Will, the Master's Touch completed.
So upgraded Poly will be so much harder to escape. The range, the radius of each one actually so much bigger.
Might look to use it now. Okay, Good is coming in with Tormented Souls, but they back away, they ignore him. Look at the burst coming through. Not enough damage here without the Tracer. This is the first time they've got a good chance, but Post-Bomb blocked by the Force of Will. Tranquility coming in here, the better sustainability. Sanko's already used.
Basically ignored, and Dami goes down. That's going to be
that
the
should
first
be GG.
one. And Bell Tower's going to go down. That's not going to be the only one. Martel dies again. After, of course, can't really do anything much other than just staying in the top lane.
We said in the draft, sure, Malthael could buy back. We said in the draft, this Tracer pick shows disrespect of Ace's Medivh, their disengaged potential, and they locked it in without Malfurion, only with the Tyrael as solo DPS with Abathur's support, and they are going to lose this game because of it. Although, Witcher does go down here. This is a very sloppy engage by Hero. They wanted to secure this one first. Hero goes down too.
Sonya was not even here. Why are they trying to contest this when they only have a 4-man there? That was a big mistake. Maybe they're getting way too sloppy at the later game.
Well, Rush is going to heal through a lot of this. Needs to hit a spear, misses it. It's going to go down here. Pulse committed. Well, this game was over, G-Clef, but the throws are real. Tempest has another chance at life now. They can grab this top bell tower that was significantly damaged from earlier.
I can't even believe what they tried to do as a 4-man there. I think they just got way too greedy, thought that they had the game over, when it wasn't out of game over. Even though they get the 5-shot, they still need 4 more shots to finish the game.
They needed Sonya to be there if they wanted to invade that heavily. They did not have her there. Either way, we're going to watch this heavy dive. And right now, staggered respawns are a huge problem for Team Ace. It's going to cost them both bell towers, or sorry, both altars, because they did not respect Tempest's dive. So Tempest gets the dive past the middle bell tower, and they're going to grab the 4 shots in the boss here. Suddenly Tempest takes a lead. Ace gets their respawns from the last fight. They're going to try to retake this top bell tower. But imagine if they had 5 right now, they could at least contest the boss. They gave the altar and the boss because of the aggression, or sorry, the overextension we saw from Medivh and the Anubarak.
Exactly. Sonya wanted to go clear the way because the bell tower was so low on the left top. But because of the Abathur on the other side, it was going to be lost anyhow. I think they went way too greedy, wanted to get as much shots as possible. But you have to do that by securing your own one first, and then going aggressive. That's how I felt. Now Tempest has a massive, massive control over the map now.
They're going to steal this camp, which will help pressure the bot lane while also regaining their bottom bell tower, which leaves them with the lead. And that means that it'll take 3 theoretical altar channels. I guess mid's going to get taken as well. I was looking at Tempest's side of the map, so it's going to go back to a 4-4 in just a second. This is not going to kill this. If they commit heavily, though, as Ace was mid, they might be able to grab it.
Oh,
next altar phase is a solo, so it's not going to kill either team.
So the Zappers are coming. If they want to pressure, and they do. They want to bring this one down.
They want it. Remember, it's not going to be enough to end the game, even with their 5 shots. They need to be careful committing to this Abathur clone. Zoning is real. Lockdown's clone's going to be ignored for the most part here. Now, They can go for an engage. Harassment coming through here from Witcher. Big force of will. This is a 5v4 fight now. Plus Abathur Symbiote Rush going very low, but the trades here are amazing on the side of Ace. Protection against this force of will. Malthael can buy back, but this is just already a one-team fight. They committed so much to grab the bell tower, but they're going to lose the altar as a result. So we're going to see this attempted delay here with the mule. Does successfully delay here. Dami needs to get out. They want to still fight this. Holy ground, really well used. Ace missing this burrow charge with KCB. Sanctification comes down. Needs to be a really good disengage from Ace. Hero gets caught. Good, doing a lot of damage. He does go down though. The polybomb was real. And Tempest tries to grab this kill into Hero. This is a crazy team fight we're watching. This game has been way closer than I could have ever imagined. Good block here by Dami to make sure that Spear does not connect and kill Sign. Hyde sneaks back around here. He's got that Abathur Symbiote. Witcher needs to make sure he's close enough to his teammates to ensure that the Force of Will shield most of them.
It's going to help. Pulse Bomb is building.
Cocoon again.
Cocoon again. They can have that CC. Dami's here to protect Tracer.
Witcher just is getting too low though, and they're ignoring these shields better and better. Looks like Tempest is finally going to take control of this. Finally grab this altar. Looking for the pulse of the Witcher. The polybomb is real, but it's not enough to save him. In fact, Rush is going to go down here, it looks like, as well. This is not their bell tower. He might have thought it was, but it is simply not.
They want to get one more and finish the game instantly with this altar now.
Well, they could just grab...
They can also do Sapper.
Yeah, they could Sapper.
Either one.
Yeah, they could Sapper and grab this. Some respawns are going to come through. Malfury can help root these. There is a small chance of survival here for Ace, but they have to prevent all three of those Sappers from coming through. What a comeback we are seeing from Tempest here.
That team fight was nasty because they didn't have the better own bell tower on their side. They had no way of going back. And Tracer is the one to chase all the time.
Okay, these Sappers getting close, and they go through. That's GG, ladies and gentlemen. Tempest with the comeback. What a game. 26 minutes nearly on Towers of Doom. Tempest finally takes control of the macro after getting that bell tower, then getting picks, then staggering picks. The huge mistake that lost Ace the game was when they committed only 4 men to the top right altar instead of the 5 to get the double channel. The 5 man would have won them the game. It feels bad for Ace to lose a game that was clearly a 1 game against a championship, world championship level team in this second part of phase 1, but at the same time, I feel like if you're a Tempest fan, you're probably feeling even worse because this was a lost game. They did not show respect in the draft to the Medivh picks. And for me going to the rest of this series that I thought was going to be a one-sided 3-0, I'm thinking anything could happen after watching that last game.
Well, if Tempest keep on drafting in this kind of a style, not really respecting the other team, and also fits the map, but their teamwork was just not there. Ace was outplaying individually, mechanically. They had all the protection. They were cocooning.
Yeah, and the team fights
Hyde
for sure.
all the time. Even the cleanse misses sometimes. I'm pretty sure Hyde was very frustrated not doing his job all the time.
Circle of Protection really meant that oftentimes Good couldn't do anything with his Tormented Souls. It's basically sank on a short cooldown. Sure, it doesn't prevent, obviously, CCs, but like when you're looking at Malthael just trying to do massive support damage, it was Tracer is the main damage, Good's on the Malthael who needs to do enough damage for them to swing these fights. If Malthael does no damage and blows up before Hyde can Ancestral, which happens so many times, or you see Tracer cocooned, or sometimes even the Rhaegar getting cocooned in that top lane attempted bait, I think this was a lack of respect on the side of Tempest against the draft they were up against. I think we're going to see them draft a lot better going into games 3 and potentially 4 and 5. But again, no one expected these games to be this close. After the second game, I really think this series could go the distance. Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen. Maybe we'll have Armayev, and because I think Tempest should be banning Medivh in the first rotations.
Could certainly be an adaptation. Absolutely.
I think things need to change if Ace is able to bring this kind of comp, and this kind of team comp can actually work in many different battlegrounds. So Tempest needs to be careful on that. But this game was nasty. It was not the most clean game I've ever seen from Korea. Those team fights, we had no idea who was going to come on top. Tracer was always missing the, not missing the pulse bomb, always hitting the pulse bomb, but that circle of protection, the force of will coming out all the time. Witcher was, he overcommitted a few times, but during the team fight, overall the entire team game, he was staying with the team. He knew exactly when to protect his team, also get that polybomb to finish off the kill.
Yeah. Tempest, you know, this, if you're a Tempest fan, you saw them win the first part of a regular season. Not regular season winners, but they were in first, undefeated in part 1. Lost their match to Ballistics, disappointed at Eastern Clash. It's a rough time to be a Tempest fan. We thought they were back up to #1. They're slipping a little bit. But before we go to our third, potentially last game of this series, guys, we're going to take a very short break. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Talents benefit multiple playstyles. Furious Blow now causes every 4th Seismic Slam to deal additional damage for no Fury cost. Shattered Ground has been changed to increase Seismic Slam's damage and range. And the new Giant Slammer talent causes Seismic Slam to deal additional damage to heroes. The new Ruthless talent causes Whirlwind to deal bonus damage to heroes at low health. And Composite Spear now further increases Ancient Spear's range and grants armor. Some talents are now viable for more than one specific build. Shot of Fury now increases basic attack damage after using Seismic Slam, making it an effective choice for both a Seismic Slam build and an auto attack build. Similarly, the new Rampage talent increases basic attack damage and reduces the cooldown of Ancient Spear with each attack. With her new and updated talents, Sonya is now capable of diversifying her build to suit a variety of playstyles and strategies.
Feel the fury of Ariat.
Medivh has undergone a major rework to reward skillful use of his abilities and increase opportunities for counterplay. Master's Touch is now a baseline quest, freeing up players' level 7 talent choice and rewarding them for skillful use of Arcane Rift. Arcane Rift's damage has been reduced since the quest can now be completed earlier in the match. Force of Will's cooldown and mana cost have increased, and it now heals